Drake.
Ooh. I'm trying to think of a word that could capture his greatness. I already gave Ack the GOAT for media, but as far as like, a person who's built a career, I'm gonna give him the GOAT for sure musically, in terms of just building the most incredible career I've ever seen in hip hop history. But also, my second word is gonna have to somehow indicate the fact that he's at a precarious place in his career, and I see him on the ropes, and I do feel like if anybody's gonna be able to bring this shit back, it's gonna be him.
You all know I love going to live events, whether it's a football game or a concert. Nothing beats a live experience. That's why I'm all about Gametime. The Gametime Picks feature shows you only the best deals, so you can easily find and snag the top offers without wasting time looking through countless hours. I was just on the app looking for tickets for the next Auburn, Georgia game. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code FUNKY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code FUNKY for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
However, goddamn, that Super Bowl performance is gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a lot to overcome.
Can we stay here real quick?
Sure.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's go here first, and then we're gonna go back to. Next name, Kendrick.
Genius. Just everything about the last couple months for sure, but really just how he's sculpted his career in general. I gotta give it to him. But also, I don't know if I have the word for it, like a simple word, but there really is a lot of truth to like, Kendrick opened his mouth, let's give him a Grammy. Like, he really does get more accolades and more attention and more respect for doing so much less than so many other people. But somehow, like, the minimalism of his career just really, like, allows him to—
It's quality.
It is a quality over quantity, and it's just so expertly executed that you got to give it to him. Because it's like, if you were to look at how many songs he's put out in his career versus Drake, I feel like Drake might have put out more songs in the last year than Kendrick has put out in his whole career, you know?
Yeah.
If not, it's something sort of similar. So I got to give it to him, especially being like a West Coast advocate.
Yeah.
It's Kendrick, everybody else. And to just see him be able to rise up out of LA and just become what he's become has been unreal.
Not to give a backhand compliment, but not to discredit anything that he's done previous to 2024, because it was still an illustrious career. But 2024 for Kendrick Lamar has propelled him into the stratosphere of the greatest of all time.
With one song. This year, one song.
Yes, but the They Not Like Us, that wasn't my favorite. It was Euphoria. Euphoria was like, you don't know nothing about that, waking up. Like that was 3 songs in one that I was like, yo, what is this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But to my point that I was gonna make, right? And this is, I'm just speaking truth. I am extremely excited that Kendrick Lamar is performing during the halftime show. I am extremely excited. Let me say that. But New Orleans? Why not Lil Wayne? Why not Cash Money? Why not?
You gotta wonder what hip hop history would be like if Jay-Z didn't have his control over the game. Because I feel like we would be seeing a Hot Boys reunion or a Drake, Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne reunion, or
For a Super Bowl? Without Jay-Z?
Well, I'm saying that I think Jay-Z chose to do this this Drake diss in coordination with Kendrick over doing something that would have satisfied all of New Orleans.
But
Jay-Z knows a level of pettiness that I think few are capable of.
for sure. But here's another statement. When in Rome, do as Romans do. When in New Orleans, do as New Orleans will do. You see what I'm saying? And everybody talking about Uptown and Holly Grove and all this, like, damn, bro. Just how, you see when the Super Bowl was in LA?
Right.
How that was probably the most impactful performance ever for a Super Bowl performance, keeping in mind, you know, Michael Jackson, keeping in mind Justin Timberlake, keeping in mind Beyonce, keeping in mind, you know, Travis Scott, Bruno Mars. But that LA performance where it was just dedicated to West Coast,
right,
that was something that needed to have a standing ovation on stilts.
There's a lot of good, solid, salt-to-the-earth New Orleans people out there wondering why they're not going to get to have a similar moment for their superstars.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I just know, like, yo, Kendrick, I know he gonna turn up.
If I go to New Orleans with a mic and I roam the streets and ask people their favorite 5 Kendrick Lamar songs, I think it's going to be ugly.
Now you go to New Orleans and you ask them.
Yeah.
It's shit, you can go. Man, look, I'm gonna give you 5 of them right now.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne, obviously. Lil Boosie, Kevin Gates, Juvenile, BG, Birdman,
Yes.
Master P. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Just imagine, make him say, what?
That's the moment they want.
What? Bruh. Dun, 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 dun.
All right. Do we think that the Super Bowl should be used as a place for people to air out what, to my eyes, are false allegations about, one of our greatest North American superstars?
Which is who?
Drake. I feel like that song is full of easily disprovable allegations. Now, if this was anything besides a rap battle, Kendrick Lamar would be sued for defamation. And I'm sure the idea has crossed Drake's mind. Because, listen, if I go get a job at the New York Times,
yes, sir,
and I write an article about some celebrity, and I make all of the allegations that are made in that song,
yes,
I am going to be sued into oblivion. They're going to have to retract it. They would never allow it to be published in the first place. But I don't know. I think if anybody else was making this call, and I can't believe the NFL went along with it, but apparently Jay-Z's reach is so strong that there was nobody to tell him no. To me, it seems kind of inappropriate to use this as a venue for a song that, to my eyes, is not only hateful, but also erroneous.
You do understand this one song is probably a grain of salt of his discography of work over the last, let's say, decade.
He wouldn't be at the Super Bowl halftime show if it wasn't for that song, though. Especially not in New Orleans. Now, it is his year. You got to give it to him.
For sure.
Lil Wayne didn't exactly shock the culture in 2024. I'm not sure exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, but you...
Probably at the local skate park, you know?
Yeah, but you can't say that without saying, when was the last time 50 Cent dropped an album? When was the last time Snoop Dogg dropped an album? When was the last time Dr. Dre dropped an album? But they graced the stage for the Super Bowl in LA.
Very true, very true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're having a debate.
And that's the thing. Kendrick was on the Super Bowl halftime show stage a couple years ago.
Oh, for sure.
He's back.
At the same, but he's the headline now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I would have thought the Super Bowl would use their platform to bring people into the culture of where this Super Bowl actually is. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's like the best thing that you could hope for the halftime show is that it would be a celebration of the local culture, especially a place like New Orleans that is super influential, but doesn't necessarily get mentioned the way that like New York, Atlanta, and LA do.
For sure. Because that's, all right, since we're here, we still have close to 10 more names. But at one point in time, just like New York has held the crown, just like West Coast has wore the crown, just like Atlanta has wore the crown. At one point in time of music, there was nothing that could be created without New Orleans having something to say about music.
But at that time, we lived in a world where it was still magazines, it was still TV.
For sure.
So I feel like they didn't get their just due. But when you started to really realize that was when you would see a Jay-Z album that came out in like 99 or some shit that only had one feature and it was Juvenile. That's when you realize like, oh shit. Jay-Z realizes how big this Southern shit is. When Big Pimpin' came out, et cetera, when they really realized like, oh, we got to embrace down South because it was like two different worlds for so long throughout hip hop history. And down South was being ignored by mainstream hip hop media.
That's all, man, look, we can go on and on about how we feel. And this is merely takes, this is merely thought-provoking discussions.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I just would have wanted me personally to say, okay, shit.
But the most logical thing would be for Kendrick to do his set and at some point bring out Wayne, have him do a couple songs. But
you understand.
that would be the ultimate disloyalty to Drake. So I don't think it can't even be discussed.
Yes.
Yeah. Even though we have seen Wayne do a bunch of little shit that makes us think, you rocking that EXO chain right now? What is your relationship with him? I don't know.
It's a lot.